Hey there and welcome to a new session. In today's session, we will solve a SQL interview question. This type of questions are commonly asked for companies dealing with logistics and transportation network. So we will go through a similar question and see how we can solve the question. So our question is, analyze the frequency of ride during peak hours compared to the non-peak hours. So given peak hours is the time between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is the peak hours. Now we have to write a SQL query to calculate the total number of rides and the average fare during peak hours and non-peak hours. The result should be displayed in a format that is time period along with total ride and average fare. So we should have finally three columns in our final output. That is, the first column is time period, which consists of two value, which is peak hours and non-peak hours, and then another two column, which are total ride and average fare. This is the format in which we have to obtain the output. Now there are two conditions which are given, so we can identify what is a peak hour and what is a non-peak hour. So ride with ride date time between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. are considered as peak hours. Now coming to non-peak hours, rides with ride date time outside those particular range is considered as non-peak hours. So we have to remember this condition while solving the question. Now let us query the table and see what is the schema that we are given. Execute this and we have a table called as rides table, and it has got ride id, ride date, ride distance and ride fare. So we are given a table with four columns. Now let us go and see what is the format of our expected output. So this is the exact same table which we saw now in SSMS, and this is the format in which we have to obtain the final output. So like explained earlier, we have a time period column in which we have two value, which is peak hour and non-peak hour. Then we have another two column which are total ride and average fare with respect to each time period. Now let us go back to SSMS and see how we can solve this question. Now we will start with a select clause. Select the columns which you require are all the columns from the right table. So we will give star from rights table, and now we have to find the time period in which the write date is falling. So for that we are going to make use of a function which is the date part function. Date part open and close parenthesis, and inside we will specify the argument. The first argument should be the date part itself. So here we require hour as the date part. So hour, then the second expression should be the write date. That is the column from which we are trying to obtain the particular date part. And this will give us the hour with respect to that write date column. Execute and see what is the output we are getting. So we have a new column which has the hour with respect to write date column. Now we have to write a case statement based on the HR column which we created now. We will write a case statement, case when. Now we are going to make use of the same function, copy, and between 7 and 10 it is belonging to the peak hour. And also there is one more condition, that is 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. is also considered as peak hours. So we will write that condition also in the same case statement. So we will place the first condition within a parenthesis, and we will write the second statement which is date part hour between 5 p.m. 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Now we have to convert that to 24-hour format. So 5 p.m. will be 17 and 8 p.m. will be 20. Now place this also inside another parenthesis, and if either of the two conditions are satisfied, then the value should be peak hour, peak underscore hour. Now also make sure that we have to write the or operator between the two conditions. So either of the condition should satisfy. Then that particular instance will be falling within peak hours. Now coming down, we will include the condition for non-peak hours. So else non-peak hour, end the case statement. Now we will give the column name as time period, time underscore period. So this is the new column which we created based on our date part which we obtained from the write date column. Execute this and we will get one additional column which is the time period column. We have a new column which is the time period column, which is now specifying either the ride is falling within the peak hour or non-peak hour. Now we will place the first query inside a CTE with peak or non-peak CTE. So this is the CTE name as open and close parenthesis, and the entire query is within a CTE. Now we will have to write a aggregation based on the time period column, that is time underscore period. Now we want the number of total ride. So we will count the number of ride ID. Count ride underscore ID, which will give us the ride count. Ride underscore count. And then we can obtain the average fare from the ride fare column. So average of ride underscore fare, which will give us the average fare underscore fare. Now this is taken from the first CTE, that is peak or non-peak. Copy the CTE name. Now we will write a group by clause. Group by time period column, time underscore period. Execute this and we should get the required output. Execute and we have the required output. So we have a time period column with the two value, which is non-peak hour and peak hour, and we have ride count corresponding to each time period and average fare with respect to each time period. Now we can see that from analyzing result, the number of rides with respect to non-peak hour is only 5, but when it comes to peak hours, the number of ride is 15. But average fare almost remain constant. It does not change much with respect to time period. That is, either it is peak hour or either it is non-peak hour, the average fare remain constant. So this is one method of solving this question. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more. Thank you.